Now students, in the previous lecture we have learnt about effect of dielectric medium in between the capacitor plates, and we have even learnt what happens when you are connecting a battery and disconnecting a battery with presence of dielectric medium. We have learnt the effects of dielectric medium on charge, potential, electric field, and as well as electric potential energy with battery connected and battery disconnected. We will solve one example based on that concept, and then we will move on to the next concept. See, we have a problem here, and in this problem it is mentioned a parallel plate capacitor has a plate's area 4 meter square separated by a distance 0.5 millimeter. So whatever is given to you in the problem, first you note down that area of cross section is being given to you. It is 4 meter square, and the separation between the plates is given as 0.5 millimeter. The capacitor is connected across a cell of EMF 100 volt. So potential is given as 100 volt. Now you are supposed to find out question A. Find the capacitance, charge and energy stored in the capacitor. You should find out capacitance, charge and as well as energy stored in the capacitor when you are connecting it to the battery. Now what would happen? You have a capacitor, parallel plate capacitor is being given. This is connected to a battery, and here it is not mentioned whether the dielectric medium is connected or not. So by default we need to we will be taking air medium here, and this battery has potential of 100 volt, and you are supposed to find out capacitance. So what is effective capacitance for parallel plate capacitor? C will be equal to epsilon naught A divided by D. This is equal to epsilon naught into A value, it is 4 meter square, and D is 0.5 into millimeter, it is 10 power minus 3. So C can be written as 4 epsilon naught divided by 5 into 10 power minus 4, and this is micro, don't write it as micro, let it be farad, and this is capacity of the parallel plate capacitor. Now we have calculated first term, it is capacitance we have already found. Next you should find out the charge. You know that charge Q is equal to C into V, where V is the potential. So charge transferred will be equal to 4 epsilon naught divided by 5 into 10 power minus 4 into potential 100 volt. This is 520s. Q will be equal to 2 4s 8, 80 epsilon naught into 10 power 4 coulomb. This is charge transferred by the battery. Next you should find out what is potential energy, right? Energy stored in the capacitor. So energy stored in the capacitor can be written as potential energy stored in the capacitor, U will be equal to Q square divided by 2C, or you can write half CV square. I will be writing it, or this can be even simply written as half CV square. So potential energy U will be equal to half into, what is C given, 4 epsilon naught divided by 5 into 10 power minus 4 into V square. V is 100, 10 power 4. Okay, this 10 power 4 and 10 power 4 gets cancelled, and this is 2. U will be equal to 2 by 5 epsilon naught joule. This is potential energy. Of course, value of epsilon naught you can substitute over there, but I don't want to make it complicated, so simply I'm leaving that as it is. 2 by 5 epsilon naught is the potential energy stored in the capacitor. Okay, that is U value. This is question A. Question A, we have calculated all things. Next, you are supposed to find out in question B, a dielectric slab of thickness 0.5 millimeter is inserted inside this capacitor after it has been disconnected from the cell. So from the cell it has been disconnected and you are placing a dielectric slab of thickness 0.5 millimeter. That means the total entire space, previously it is 0.5 millimeter. Now you are inserting a dielectric slab of 0.5 millimeter. That means the whole entire space you are completely filling it with dielectric medium is inserted inside the capacitor after it has been disconnected from the cell. Find the answers to part A if K is equal to 3. So you should find out capacitance, charge, energy stored in the capacitor, taking K is equal to 3. So if you take K is equal to 3 and you will be substituting here, what would happen to effective capacitance? So with battery, I'll just make this now. You are connecting this battery with you are disconnecting this battery, right? You are disconnecting the battery and you are inserting the dielectric slab in between the plates. So thickness of the dielectric slab is equal to D. Therefore new capacity C dash will be equal to K times C. What happens to its capacity? Capacity increases by K times. So C dash will be equal to K is 3 times C is nothing but 4 epsilon naught divided by 5 into 10 power minus 4. That is C dash. After that you can find out charge. What would happen to charge? Charge is conserved. So no change is observed in charge. Therefore charge remains same as it is. So Q will be as it is 80 epsilon naught into 10 power 4 coulomb. Charge remains same as it is. Next you are supposed to find out potential energy. Potential energy U is equal to half into, or you should not use half CV square here, you should use Q square divided by 2C, because potential you are disconnecting, right? So V becomes 0 here if you are disconnecting the battery. So you cannot use half CV square, use Q square divided by 2C. Q is already known to you, C is increased by C dash. So this gives you Q square divided by 2C dash. C dash is Q square divided by K into 2C. But what is Q square divided by 2C? It is already calculated as 2 by 5 epsilon naught. This gives you 2 epsilon naught divided by 5 into K. What is K? It is 3 joule. So U will be equal to 2 divided by 15 epsilon naught joule. Right? That is potential energy decreased by K times. Charge remains same as it is. Capacity increases by K times. This is what we have learned already in the previous lecture. I'm sorry. Here I have made one small mistake. This 10 power minus 4 and 10 power 4 I have cancelled, but it does not happen. It is 10 power minus 4 and 10 power 4. This become 10 power 8. I'm sorry. It is 10 power 8 joule. So here it will be epsilon naught into 10 power 8 joule. Please correct that. 10 power minus 4 and 10 power 4, it become 10 power 8. Let us calculate force on dielectric slab due to charged capacitor. You have a charged capacitor, that means already you are taking a capacitor and connecting it to the battery. So as a result, this is positive. Upon this plate, it become positive charge is accommodated, and here negative charge is accommodated. And then you are disconnecting this charged plate capacitor. One become positive and the other one become negative. Now this is charged capacitor, and this charged capacitor is now filled with dielectric medium. Okay, so you are filling this slab completely. The entire space between the two plates is filled with dielectric slab. So as a result, what would happen? See, here it is positive charge, and upon this plate there is positive charge. Upon this plate there is negative charge. As I already told you, if this dielectric slab, within this dielectric slab there will be charges. Negative plate will be attracting positive charges towards its side. Positive plate will be attracting negative charges towards its side. Okay, so as a result, what would happen now? There is negative, this is negative charge and this is positive charge, and you can use electric field directions over there. So from this positive charge, field will be extended in outward direction, and from this negative charge, field will be extended inward. So you can draw field directions for each and every end within this hole. Now let me show you that. Because of the capacitor plates, I am drawing the field. This is E, right? But that is because of capacitor plate, positive charge, and because of this negative plate, field will be towards it. Okay, next I will be representing field due to this dielectric slab. It is negative charge, right? So as it is negative charge, field will be in this direction, and as it is positive charge, field from this will be in this direction, right? So everywhere if you observe, field is outward and as well as inward. Field is inward and as well as outward. What is happening here? See, as the entire space is filled with the dielectric slab, positive, the effective field produced by the positive charge is nullified by the effective negative charge. As a result, what would happen? In this case, if the dielectric is completely inside the capacitor, then force on this dielectric slab will be equal to 0, because net effective field is equal to 0 within this capacitor. So as a result, force on dielectric slab, force on dielectric slab is equal to 0 if you are completely filling the dielectric medium in between the two plates. Yeah. Now let us see one more concept here. In the previous slide, we have seen the entire dielectric slab is completely occupying the space between the plates. But now the dielectric slab is partially filled between these two plates. Here it is air medium, and here it is dielectric slab of some dielectric constant K. So in order to pull, like there will be positive charge here upon this plate and negative charge upon this plate. What would happen now? In the dielectric slab, this positive charge will be pulling all negative charge towards itself, towards it, and the negative charge which is over here on the plate will be pulling all the positive charge onto the other side. This is nothing but polarization of the charge. So when a dielectric slab is placed in between the plates of the capacitor which is being charged, polarization takes place. And now till this part, there is charge polarization taking place. But what about here? here there is no dielectric slab, completely it is air medium. As a result, field here would be different, field here would be different, and this results some force acting on the dielectric slab such that that force pull the dielectric slab into the capacitor. So this force will be acting on this capacitor, on the dielectric slab. Now I want to find out the magnitude of that force. Okay. Now if the dielectric slab is partially filled, let me consider the space which is being filled as this part. This is distance d, separation between the plates. I am considering it as d, and the portion which is inside, let me consider it as x, and b is breadth of these plates. Like this is actually capacitor plates will be like this, right? It occupies some area. It is breadth. There will be one more plate here, and in between you have a dielectric slab which is being partially filled from here to here, right? This is breadth, and this total is length. It is length, right? From the total length, only x portion is being filled with the dielectric medium, and this is breadth p, I'm sorry. And the separation between these two plates, let it be d as it is. Now you can, this is three-dimensional, you should imagine that x portion of the dielectric slab is inside the plates and remaining portion is empty. And here we are connecting voltage source. Voltage source is not disconnected, voltage source remains same. First we shall learn what happens if the voltage source is remained. Whenever voltage source is remained, we can find out potential energy as half C V square. Why I am finding potential energy? You have relation for force and potential energy. F is equal to du divided by dx. That is a relation between force and potential energy. So if you are able to find out potential energy here, and if you differentiate that with respect to x, you will be getting force, right? Let me take this as equation number 1. Let me take this as equation number 2. Now I need to find out what is the net capacity. So in order to find out capacity, see, you can take this into two different capacitors. One capacitor is having capacity C1, other capacitor is having capacity C2. So the portion which is air filled, it has capacity C1, and the portion which is dielectric filled, its capacity, let me consider it as C2. And of course this comes under parallel plate capacitor. So first I will write down C1. And how are this C1 and C2 connected? C1 and C2 are connected in parallel. Therefore C will be equal to C1 plus C2. Now this is equal to, C1 can be written as epsilon naught. A is area of the cross section. Area of the cross section, I can write it as length into breadth, right? So it is L minus x into B divided by epsilon naught A by separation between the plates, it is D, plus epsilon naught A by D, that is the formula for parallel plate capacitor. A is area of cross section. Area of the cross section is this breadth and this part of the length. Only this length you need to consider, right? How much is this length? Already x portion is filled with the dielectric slab, so this portion become L minus x. So L minus x into this B gives you the complete area of the dielectric slab which is air filled. So A is L minus x into B divided by D plus. Next, dielectric medium, with the dielectric medium capacity C2 becomes K times epsilon naught into area of cross section is B into x divided by separation between the plates, it is D. Okay, it is K epsilon naught A by D. Now wherever common terms are there, you can take them out. Epsilon naught B divided by D, I can bring it out. epsilon naught, this gives you L minus X plus K into X. Check it up. Any doubt? Epsilon naught B by D, I have took it out. Remained is L minus X. Epsilon naught B by D, I have took. Remained is Kx. Fine. This is capacity C. And potential, however, will be V. So I can write down potential. U is equal to half into C is epsilon naught B by D into L minus X plus Kx into V square. This is potential energy, sorry. Let me take this as equation number 3. We have calculated potential energy of this entire capacitor, which is being partially filled with dielectric slab. Now I want to find out the force. F will be equal to d by dx of half epsilon naught B by D into L minus X plus Kx into V square. Constant terms, you can bring it out. Only X is variable here, right? You are differentiating the whole term with respect to X. Only X is variable. Remaining all terms are constants. You can bring them out and differentiate it with respect to X. Differentiating that with respect to X, you will be getting final expression as F is equal to epsilon naught B into K minus 1 into V square divided by 2 into D. This is the final expression for force acting on the dielectric slab. Integration, differentiation part is left to you. You should differentiate this total, and finally you will be getting answer as epsilon naught B into K minus 1 V square divided by 2D. This is the force acting on the dielectric slab, which is being partially filled in between the plates of a charged capacitor with battery without disconnected. Voltage source is connected. That is the reason why we remained as it is in this expression. So whenever you are getting problem based on this concept, you need to use this formula directly. It is epsilon naught B. B is the breadth of the plates. K minus 1, K is dielectric constant. V square is as it is divided by 2D. And one important thing you need to understand here is, in the final expression, there is no X term. Is it not? This is independent of X. So what does it mean? This dielectric slab can be filled up to quarter portion or half portion or 3/4 portion of the parallel plates area. It is independent of the X. Force will be remained same as it is. That is very important concept you need to remember. Students, we have learned in case 1 that force acting on the dielectric slab is independent of the X when the voltage is remained connected. Voltage source is remained connected. F is independent of the X. It only depends upon K. Now let us learn in case 2 what would happen when charge on the capacitor is constant. So when charge on the capacitor is constant, it means that battery is disconnected. Okay. So charge on the capacitor will be constant if you are disconnecting the battery of a charged capacitor and you are placing a dielectric slab in between the plates of that charged capacitor. Now you want to find out what is the force acting upon that dielectric slab in between the charged capacitor plates when battery is disconnected. Right. If battery is disconnected, as charge remains constant, we will be using equation for potential energy as Q square divided by 2 into C effective. Because charge is remained constant here, that's the reason why I am using Q square divided by 2C. In the previous part, in case 1, voltage is remained constant. That is the reason why I have used half CV square. Now I will substitute that here. Q square divided by 2 into C effective is epsilon naught B by D into L minus X plus Kx. This is potential energy U. We have already calculated effective capacitance over there. Now you should differentiate this term with respect to x. In order to find out force F, what you need to do, you need to differentiate this. It is du divided by dx. Now this whole term you can write it as q square. This is d by dx of this term I am writing here. It is q square into d divided by 2 epsilon naught b into L minus x plus kx. Okay, this is F. You need to differentiate this whole term. When you differentiate this whole term, you will be getting final expression as F is equal to q square divided by 2c square into dc divided by dx. Of course, F is equal to q square divided by, or else one thing I'll do, I don't want to make it more complicated. Final expression I'll be writing here. F will be equal to q square divided by 2c square into epsilon naught b divided by d into k minus 1. This is the final expression. F is equal to q square by 2c square into epsilon naught b by d into k minus 1, or this can be even written as F is equal to q square divided by 2c square into dc divided by dx. Okay, so when you are placing a dielectric slab in between the plates, first find out the effective capacity. C value you will be calculating. After finding C, differentiating that with respect to x, you will be getting dc divided by dx. So after getting dc by dx, just substitute in this final expression F value, you will be getting force which is dependent upon k value. Again here, see, this final expression is independent of x. Check it up, this expression, this value F, it is we do not have any x term here, but see, there is a c square. But what is a c? C is dependent on x. As c is dependent on x here, F value will be variable. That depends on how much area or how much length is being filled by the dielectric slab. So therefore here you will be getting variable force. You will be getting variable force because dc by dx is a variable quantity. Clear? And it depends on x value. It depends on x. That means how much length is being filled by the dielectric medium. Depending upon that, you will be getting the force. That is what when charge on the capacitor is constant. That means you are disconnecting the battery.